Hey, hey, hey. I see somebody. How are you? One of these days, I'm going to find out who that somebody is that's always on here first and doesn't say anything. Who would be? Who would be Jelly Bean? Hola, 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 hola. Where is everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Miss Raven. We made it. We're the first ones here. Ugh, I need a drink. Hey, Vincy Lou Who. How are ya? So, Raven, I'm starting at chapter 2. Is that what Nina told me? Because who knows when she'll show up. Y'all, the days are getting shorter. I don't like these short days. I don't want winter to come. I'm going to be whiny when it gets this winter. Just so you know. And I'll probably look like the abominable snowman. Don't say that. Ori. Okay. Thank you, Raven. Oh, I despise the snow. I despise cold weather. It's 76 degrees out there now with the wind blowing, and I'd probably have a blanket on. The only time I'm warm is when I have hot flashes or I'm in the shower. Ori, kiss my ass. It's been a rough hour. Thank you very much. Oh, I know we'll enjoy it. That's Hoochie Mamas always enjoy shifter books. That right, girls? Is this going to be a hot flash kit night? Am I going to need a hot flash? Yeah, if I look like I'm like half asleep or whatever, I'm fighting a headache. I've taken some medicine, I've eaten, nothing seems to be working. So, please forgive me if I'm not my usual perky self. Um, Raven, does 2 and 3 have any sexy scenes in it? Because if it does, the girls may have to get their hot flash kits out. Nina, you really need to find out if these books are going to have hot flash kits. Hey, Connie. Lord, y'all, this light is so bright. Can I read like this? I need to go put my shades on. Oh, no hot flash kits needed then, ladies. You're good. Raven, I don't know if you've ever heard, but our hot flash kits include fans, water bottles, wine or choice of liquor, or if you really just need tea or whatever to drink, that's fine. My case lemonade that doesn't have vodka in it tonight. And a vibrator and lube if you just need it. You know, some of us need lube sometimes, so yeah, that's the hot flash kit. So you know, sometimes we have to warn people ahead of time, bring your hot flash kits. Okay, you ladies about ready? All right. I don't let's see. Let me pull it up here right quick. So, come on. Just so you know, the book comes out in 5 days, August 25th on Amazon. It's called Chance and Sage, A Wolf's Hunger Alpha Shifter Romance of the Tatum, A Wolf's Hunger. That's the cover. Whoop, whoop. And damn, those pants need to just, can I just go and just jerk those pants off? I always want to do that with that picture. It's going to be $4.99, but it's also going to be on KU. So let's get ready. Let's go. All right. And we're going to start with chapter 2. Chance took note of the dark circles around his mother's eyes. She was still beautiful, but seemed to age at least 10 years since his father was placed upon their bed. For that, he cursed Red and the Stone Pack. Blood was the only thing that could make things right. Chance's need for revenge increased hourly, burning like hot coal in the pit of his stomach and eating away at his heart. He glanced over at his mother lying beside his father. He felt weak, helpless in the situation. This was the 3rd day she refused to leave her mate's side. Sure, she took time out to reassure those around her that all was well. However, Chance knew better. His mother's plates of food remained untouched, and her face, now drawn and pale, proved her melancholy state of mind. He knew his mother began to prepare for his father's death. She was hopeful for his recovery, yet ready to accept the worst, especially since Scotty spiked a high fever overnight. The medicine had taken effect slowly, but not to the point where Scotty emerged from his coma. In his unconscious state, he laid still, his pallor pale and deathly against the dark blue sheets. The days seemed to lump together, each one the same as the day before. It was the 5th day, however, nothing had changed. It was late in the evening, the sun no longer visible when Doc Richards arrived. He was dressed in all black, carrying a large bag full of his instruments. Time stood still as he examined Scotty. He smiled as he wrapped his stethoscope around his neck. His breathing is regulated. I believe he is asleep. Deep body healing sleep. But Alpha Scotty is no longer in a coma. Chance and his mother stood vigil over Scotty. It was close to midnight when he finally woke from his sleep. The pain in his eyes, the understanding of what had taken place, spoke volumes in Scotty's eyes. Chance could see Chance could see his father's mind mulling over what had taken place. His father was trying to come to grips with a battle he never experienced, a new enemy he never knew before, and its name was defeat, pain, and uncertainty. The day also marked that of Nate's memorial service. His mother was happy Scotty's health improved, but she now fought the demons of sorrow, pain, and regret as she prepared to bury her youngest child. Chance heard his mother's cry and wished he could take away all her hurt and pain. Try as he might to lighten her load, he could only do so much. His thoughts drifted back to the arrangement of Nate's funeral, which brought back his own guilt and sorrow. The private service was held in a small chapel with only the immediate family and friends in attendance. Chance was grateful to Gamma Dunn, who did the eulogy. The goddess and creator of life knew there was no way he could have managed to utter a single word to help heal the wound left by Nate's death. Tatum and Bristol arrived moments before the service. Chance decided to wait until the service concluded before he asked Tatum for his blessings. Chance hoped Tatum and Bristol's presence would help his father's recovery. It would be a long, hard road for him to travel back to good health, but for the first time there was hope. True, he would never be that formidable alpha who once ruled the Rolling Hill Pack, but he'll be alive. After the service, a few people came to the house, and the hour seemed to crawl before they began to disperse. As usual, they said their goodbyes once all the food and drinks were gone. The few that remained were briefed on Scotty's conditions, and one by one they took turns visiting his bedside. Scotty spoke gingerly with them all, even smiling at the appropriate times. However, he was careful not to reveal his injury, for he kept his leg hidden. Chance knew his father felt less than and was embarrassed by his disfigurement. Once all the visitors went home and only the immediate family remained, Chance asked Tatum to join him on the back porch.
It's such a pleasure seeing you help your mother, stepping up as the man of the house. I know this isn't easy for you, especially with your father's condition, Tatum said. Thank you, Godfather. Coming from you, that means a lot. Chance looked around to make sure no one was in earshot. You know he will never be the same. I know. Tatum looked out into the distance. He knew Scotty for many, many years. He was a brother and a friend. That is why I wanted to speak with you. As you can see, my father will never be the alpha he once was, no matter how much I wish things were different. Chance began to tear up, his voice cracking at the truth of the matter. I was told by your mother that you blame yourself for his unfortunate accident. You know, son, as an alpha, danger and violent incidents can occur without warning. Something as simple as a skirmish can turn into a battle, or vice versa.
Tatum ran his hands through his salt and pepper hair. His keen eyes looked out into the night, and with a deep sigh, he said,
I understand your pain and guilt. It is a normal reaction, however, not a very realistic one.
Placing a hand on Chance's shoulder, he repeated,
Not realistic at all.
I know yet. Chance took a deep breath before slowly exhaling. I need to avenge Nate's death. I need to do something to erase this nightmare.
In time you will. Even with revenge, planning and strategy is key. You need to know your opponent, the area you choose to do battle, have everything strategically in place, even down to the direction the wind is blowing, Tatum announced. Taking a seat on the porch's bench, he stretched his long legs before him as he gave Chance encouragement. You're new at this, so take the time to learn, plan, and come into your own. Everything must be handled carefully without error. The longer you take, the more comfortable your enemy will become. Chance nodded in agreement, taking in all the information Tatum gave. What I really want to discuss with you is my decision to step into the role of Rolling Hills Alpha. Beta David suggested I announce it as temporary post to give myself time to learn and prepare. He's a smart man and a great beta. I have all the confidence in the world that you will make your father and the pack proud. So I have your blessings? Chance asked reluctantly. Son, I appreciate your respect for the chain of command and the honor and respect you give me, but I thought I made my position clear. Tatum said slowly in an authoritative tone before smiling. Yes, you have my blessings. If there is anything you need, and don't hesitate to ask, I'm here for you. With that, he stood up, towering over Chance. He placed his godson in a strong wolf hug. Chance was pleased that the day went off without a hitch. Of course, his mother and Bristol's bouts of crying for Nate were anticipated. Still, when all was said and done, the day was a good day. Chance felt as if a huge rock was removed from his chest. Nate was buried, his father's health on the mend, and he received Tatum's blessings. The trio factors made his wolf leap for joy. But in his heart, he knew nothing would be the same, and just like that, the sadness engulfed him, and his wolf began to howl in sorrow. Chance woke up to darkness. His plan to wake up at the crack of dawn, like his father did each day, this was the forefront of his mind. His father once told him he woke early to walk about the land, touch bases with the Upsilons and Eddas, posted around the Rolling Hill Pride. He could also take the opportunity to hunt. This will be my morning ritual also. Chance knew it was too early for Ryan to rise, but if he was going to be his beta, he would damn well have to learn to get his ass up early. It was time to see if Ryan was ready to step outside his comfort zone. But first, he needed to hunt. For some reason, his stomach felt empty. The rumble that escaped confirmed his need to eat. The mere thought of food made his hunger intensify. He was famished. Running down the narrow path, he shifted in mid-dash. His paws pounded the dew-mist grass and wet, earthy ground that led into the woods. A hare ran across his path, but Chance didn't want the small creature. No, he wanted something big, something that presented a challenge. Chance stopped in the middle of the meadow, tilted his head to the side, and listened to the inhabitants nearby. With a lift of his head, he caught a scent, the scent of a wild boar. The beat of his heart increased as he let his eyes focus on the prize. It didn't take much to get his heart to race due to the adrenaline already pumping through his veins. Chance was unbelievably fast. Every stride was made with lightning speed. With great force, he pounced onto the haunches of the boar. His claws and teeth ripped through its flesh like paper. It took a moment for the boar to slow down. It attempted to escape, and when he did, Chance wrestled him to the ground and began to feast upon the sweet, savory meat. The brisk swim in the lake and the run to Ryan's place gave Chance an opportunity to rehearse his speech. Rolling Hills Village was quiet, and he felt alive. Chance was detained along the way by 3 Epsilons who recognized him on the spot. The only other movement in the small village was that of Old Man Johnson, the village baker. Chance could see Old Man Johnson pulling bread from the oven and frowned as his stomach translated a need to eat again. It wasn't long before his bare feet walked up the steps to Ryan's front door.
Chance knocked 3 times on the wooden door. He hoped Ryan was alone, since he was prone to entertain whatever female caught his eye. Ryan, like Chance, loved the ladies and the ladies loved him. This was the same for Jesse, too. The three were notorious for their bed sport. Unlike Chance, Ryan and Jess had no desire to settle down. Chance knocked again, this time with more vigor. Chance prepared to knock again with more exertion when the door flew open. He could see by the look on Ryan's face that he was annoyed by the pounding on the door. Chance assumed he was asleep. Ryan stood partially clothed. His dark eyes blinked several times as he tried to focus. "What the fuck, Chance?" Ryan bellowed, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Ryan viewed Chance's nude body before he looked around to see if he was alone. "Have you been on a hunt alone? And why the hell are you beating the shit out of my door at this time of night? Shit, morning." Looking around again, he waited for Chance to respond. "We need to talk," Chance announced. "This time of morning?" Ryan asked, his confusion on his face. "Yes, I said we need to talk," Chance stated again. Ignoring Ryan's foul mood, he pushed past his friend and entered the house. "Well, hell, why don't you just come on in?" Ryan sighed. "You need to sit down for this." "For what?" Ryan asked, throwing Chance a blanket. "Did I or did I not just tell you we need to fucking talk?" Talk? Chance, have you lost your damn mind? You come beating on my door in the middle of the night, shit, day, morning, oh hell. Talk. Ryan began to pace the small living room space. "Sit," Chance ordered, tired of his friend's pacing. "Sit? Stop repeating what I say, Ryan. You're starting to piss me off." Flopping down on his recliner, Ryan's eyes focused on Chance as he tried his best to figure out what was going on. "My father wasn't at the funeral today because he isn't well." "I know, man. I feel bad for the alpha. I know he's sick about Nate's death." "No, that's not it. I mean, yeah, he's sick over what happened, but my dad is in bad shape. Ryan, he almost died." "What? What are you talking about?" Ryan shouted, standing to his feet. "Nate didn't die of root poisoning. He died because he went with my father to the Stone Pack to stop them from poaching and trespassing on our lands. A fight broke out and Nate was killed, and my father lost his leg and received a deep wound in his side." Chance inhaled deeply before adding, "He is in bad shape. There's no way he can continue to rule over Rolling Hill." "Damn, why didn't you tell me this shit earlier?" Ryan said, sitting back down. But at the edge of the seat, he said, "I'm ready. Let's go." Ryan jumped back up. "Go where?" Chance asked, coming to his feet. "To fucking Stone Pack to kill those motherfuckers," Ryan growled. "Not yet. Trust me. They will get theirs. But I have to get things in order first." "What kind of things in order?" "I say let's go now. We can get them before the sun rises on their ass." "Look, everything I do needs to be done strategically and in order. No rash moves, no mistakes," Chance explained, reciting some of what Tatum said before sitting back down. "I don't understand. Why are you here like this if we're not going to kick some ass?" "I'm taking over as alpha of Rolling Hill, and I want you to be my beta." Ryan stopped pacing the floor. "What? You're going to be alpha and you want who? Me? To be what?" "My beta. My second." "Why me?" Ryan was more confused than before. "Because I know you'll have my back come hell or high water.
You're smart and can kick ass with no fear. Plus, you are not a yes person and will tell me when I'm out of order and shit. Chance smiled, but he could tell that Ryan could see he was serious. I need you, Ryan. But what about Beta David? He doesn't want it, and he agrees with me making you my beta. He he said his loyalties are to my father, and if my dad's no longer the alpha, then he's no longer the beta. Damn, that's some serious shit right there. I know, right? He was dead serious too. I know you can fill your father's shoes, bro, but me as beta, I don't know. Ryan sat down, closing his eyes against Chance's piercing gaze. Leaning forward, Ryan asked, what about Jesse? No, man, he's too driven and will want to lead. Plus, he's not able to tell me I'm wrong, even though I'm right most of the time, Chance laughed. Was that meant to be a compliment or an insult? Shit, I'm driven too, Ryan said, scratching his head. It means you are perfect for the job as beta, and Jesse is perfect for my zeta and lead epsilon. Okay, so when do you want to push this plan into action? I'm putting it into action now, but the pack will think that my father is just battling a nasty bug and I'm temporarily stepping in with the help of Beta David. Smart, real smart. I'm on my way to see Jesse now. I am hoping he can see things my way. Chance laughed, for his meeting with Jesse mirrored that of Ryan. Jesse was not happy when he opened the door and again ready to go to war once he heard the truth of Nate's death. And although he didn't believe himself ready for the position, he gladly accepted the position of Zeta and didn't question Chance's decision in making Ryan his beta. The days went by quickly for Chance. He, Ryan, and Jesse spent every waking moment being tutored by Beta David and Scotty. The pack accepted their story of a bear attack, a story they felt would be more believable and in time would explain Scotty's injuries. But Chance wanted revenge on the Stone Pack to the point that his stomach was in knots, his demeanor cranky, and his temper quick to flare. Plus, his nerves had him eating out of control. His ravenous appetite was insatiable. When his mother asked about his mood change and eating habits, he just ignored her, not because he didn't want to answer her question, but because he didn't know what to say. He had no explanation, and her prying. The fact she kept talking about some crazy old wives' tale concerning the wolf's hunger and old fairy tales nonsense didn't help matters. Chapter 3. Yay! Thank you, ladies. Sage nervously tapped her slender fingers upon the smooth redwood table. Her dark brown, almond-shaped eyes with long wingspan lashes shot daggers at her brother. She was doing her best not to explode with anger as she listened to her brother. Is it Tabris? Inform her parents of the things that transpired while they were away. She loved her twin brother, older by 3 months, but she hated the fact he always felt it necessary to tell the truth and snitch on her. Sage tried to get Tabris to live by the code of, if they don't know, they don't know. Who in their right mind would confess to something no one knows about? Okay, I was trying to see who was seeing me speak. When we left, we asked, no, pleaded for the two of you to conduct yourselves as if we were here. Tatum shook his head in disbelief. 3 days, Logan. That's all. Just 3 days, Tatum growled. I did conduct myself as if you were here. It's Tabris who didn't. And Dad, you know I didn't like Logan. It's Sage.
Oh, and Dad, you know I don't like Logan. It's Sage, she responded. Sage nervously twisted her long, thick mane on top of her head as she rolled her ebony eyes at her mother. Her lips moved silently, cursing Tabris. How many voices have I gone through? Sage, what did I do? Tabris asked, glaring back at Sage. You are trying to act like my father. You are not my father, Tay. No, but I am. And no, but I am. And your disrespect of rules and protocol are unacceptable, Tatum bellowed. Mom! Sage called out for assistance, looking at her mother Bristol, who could easily pass as Sage's older sister. Her hair was still thick, long, and shiny, as her eyes sharp as an eagle. Her body resembled that of a 20-year-old. However, her words were that of a mother. I agree with your father, Logan. Plus, I named you Logan Sage and will call you whatever I choose, Logan Sage, she announced, holding her hands up to stop any response to what she proclaimed. You need to understand that you cannot, and I mean cannot, run like a wild wolf. You are the Alpha's daughter and need to conduct yourself in a more dignified light than most, Bristol admonished. Sage felt as if she was being backed into a corner by her mother, father, and brother as they continued to chastise her. You are well past the mating age. The question is, what good Alpha is going to marry an unruly woman? Bristol asked quietly, trying to diffuse the situation, but the look in her eyes confirmed the fact that she meant business. I'm strong enough to be my own Alpha, Sage stated, yet regretted the words the moment they crossed her lips. True, she believed what she said. However, she knew it wouldn't go over well with her parents, especially not her father. She didn't want to be some token prize to some lame wolf who thought he struck it big by marrying the legendary King Alpha, Tatum's daughter. See, this is what started the fight the other night, Tabor said, a reminder to their parents of Sage's behavior. We cannot let this go. When can't he let this go, for God's sake? I didn't start anything. I simply informed the group that a female can be just as strong, smart, and powerful as a male and could be a better Alpha. Which is true, Sage hissed. Nobody asked Mouse to intervene. I wasn't even talking to his ugly face. We don't call anyone names, Sage, Bristol said, correcting Sage's comment. His name is Mouse, and he is ugly, she replied. You see, you didn't have to challenge him, Logan. I mean, Sage, Tavis corrected when Sage turned to him with fire in her eyes. He challenged me. He said he could take me, and I needed a good ass whooping. So now what was I supposed to do? Sage asked. She looked at all present for confirmation that she did the right thing. You walk away. You pick another conversation or walk away, Tatum instructed. That's what I told her to do, Dad. I told her to leave it alone, but instead she egged it on, Tabris said. You know you did, Sage. I want you to apologize to Mouse, Bristol said. She can't do that, Mom. Not now, Tabris said. Why not? Bristol asked, sitting down beside her son. He left town, embarrassed. Yeah, because I whooped his ass instead of him whooping mine, Sage proclaimed with glee. Logan! Tatum and Bristol shouted in unison. Sage folded her arms, looking down at the table. She mumbled, It's Sage. She realized there was nothing left to say. Her parents would never agree with her. You never understand. You never listen to me.
Honey, I love you, and trust me, I realize it's difficult for you to understand this now, but it is important that you are matched with the right alpha, and that cannot happen if you develop an unsavory reputation. Oops, that's her mother. Sorry. Honey, I love you, and trust me, I realize it's difficult for you to understand this now, but it is important that you are matched with the right alpha, and that cannot happen if you develop an unsavory reputation, like Nina's. Her mother added while stroking Sage's wild mane. Sage was beautiful beyond measure, but her stubborn and fiery personality made her untouchable. You are the most important person in my life other than your mother. I only want the best for you, but I cannot afford to bribe, apologize, and make amends to leaders of the surrounding packs or the wolves' families each time you cause some faux pas, Tatum whispered. Sage knew Tabris was the most important person in her parents' life, unlike herself. After all, he was named after both of them, Tay for Tatum and Briss for Bristol. Now, why didn't I get that? Duh. I'm so used to reading strange names. There's a joke behind that reputation remark I made about Nina. Tabris will one day reign as alpha of the Blackstone Pack, even though I would make a better, more fearless alpha. So much for your love, Dad. Neither of you married for arrangement purposes. You married for love. You both tell the story of Wolf's hunger, Sage said quietly. Yes, we were blessed by the goddess. However, there are more couples that are happy and have never experienced the hunger. Still, they love and live happily ever after lives. Couples like Scotty and Kaylin. There are those who have arranged marriages and it works out just fine, like Tiger and Nat. Well, Gamma Bishop said, I will experience a wolf's hunger. He said, I'm doubly blessed because both of you felt the hunger. He said, Tabris and I both are going to feel it if we are patient and let nature take its course, Sage announced proudly. I think I better talk to Gamma Bishop, Tatum whispered to Bristol. I am just as strong, smart, and as resourceful as Tabris, but you only want me to cook and plant flowers. You won't even call me by the name I prefer. I know you have many talents, but now is the time to concentrate on those things that will help secure your future, not your fancy, Tatum stated firmly, letting her know the conversation was over. I blame myself. I should have taken your whims of battle more seriously, but I thought it endearing to have you shadow me. I was amused at your learning battle skills for me, touched by your desire to have me teach you. Tatum let a smile touch his lips before clearing his throat to obtain a sterner tone, adding, But you are a woman now, so it's time to put those ridiculous notions out of your head. Tatum decided to end the conversation by turning his attention to Tabris. I'm expecting a message from Chance any day now. When he is ready to officially take over as alpha, I will need you to go to Rolling Hill and give him my approval so I will know he has my blessing. Yes, Father. You haven't seen him since you were kids. You will like Chance. He is a born leader, and I love him like a son. Your aunt and uncle raised him properly. Can I go along with Tabris? Sage said. No, it would be better if you stayed here. The terrain may be a bit too much for you. Plus, this will be a short 3-day trip there and back. I'm a better fighter and can think on my feet, Sage announced. Enough! Shouted Tatum. I'm sick of this. You need to concentrate on finding a male and having pups instead of warring. This is not your destiny. It is my destiny. I am an alpha, Sage shouted back with fury. No. Tabris will be alpha unless he is challenged and loses. Slamming his fist on the table, Talon busted. You are careless, headstrong, and emotional. In other words, female. And this conversation ends now, or you will suffer the consequences. Sage tossed her chair back and it fell to the floor as she ran out of the room. She wanted to say more, but knew better, so she left the conversation and the room. This is over for now. I have a destiny. I know I do, and I know what it is. I don't think it was necessary to break her spirit, Bristol whispered. Better to break her spirit than to have someone break her full neck. These aren't young pups she's messing with. They are grown wolves. Men, Tatum announced with anger. Dad, she is good. I mean scary good. I hate to say it, but she's you. What the hell do you mean she is me? Tatum asked as he tried to calm his temper from the outburst his daughter caused. She's a mirrored reflection of you. I've tried to emulate you on so many levels, several times, yet I realized I have my own style, be it good or bad. However, Logan Sage has mastered your techniques and then some. Tabris stated calmly with regret. I don't know. I don't want to hear this nonsense. She is female. She has no power, no skill, no chance in a real fight. Tatum replied. Oh, really? She's a female with no power or skill. Is that what you think of a female alphas? Stop it, Bristol. Yes, you are good, but just good. Tatum stated and immediately wished he could take the words he uttered back. Fuck you, Tatum, Bristol hissed. I was once to be beckoned with them and with then and now, on all fours or two. She walked away and slammed the door behind her. Shit, that didn't go well, did it? Tatum whispered. Sage wanted to go. She needed to get away from Blackstone. This isn't fair, Sage cried, going out the door. She hated tears, but she felt trapped and frustrated by the situation. She wanted to prove herself to her parents. She wanted them to trust her judgment. They treated her like a spoiled child in need of a timeout. On the way down the hill, Sage ran into a Delta. She was curious about his haste and decided to intervene. She knew her father would be angry. However, she needed to satisfy her curiosity, which outweighed her father's disappointment and anger. What is your name, Delta? Sage asked as she made her voice sound strong and authoritative. I am Sage, the Alpha's daughter. Mike, miss, he replied. He bowed deeply. Well, Mike, my father, Alpha Tatum, is away at the moment. If you give me the message, I will give it to him immediately, she lied. Miss, if he is away, I need to give the message to Beta Luke, he said in a matter-of-fact tone. Well, that will be difficult to do since he's with my father. Oh, well, I was just trying to help. I guess you'll figure it out. Wait, miss. I will give you the message, but you must make sure Alpha Tatum receives it as soon as possible. No problem. I will take care of it myself and no one else will see it. Thank you. The moment the Delta left her side, Sage carefully opened the message. She took her time opening it just in case her conscience made her seal it back and give it to her father. Sage shook off the feeling of regret. Instead, she shook the letter open and began to read the brief note which read, Godfather, I hope this note finds you well. My father is healing and my mother is pleased. We, Beta, David, Ryan, Jesse, and I believe the time is right for a transition. Hope to see you soon. Chance. Sage decided to make the journey and bring Chance her father's approval. She ran quickly back up the hill, then stopping at the top, began to walk slowly as to not draw attention to herself. Sage spoke to the pack members along the way as she did daily. When she reached the house, she tried to act as normal as possible. Since when have you been normal? She laughed to herself. Once she entered the house, Sage called out to her mother. She was happy that there was no response in return. She quickly went into her father's study. Opening his desk drawer, she removed the box of sealed letters of approval. The box held several envelopes with names on them. Chance's envelope wasn't in the box. It's not here. How could it not be here? Maybe Tay has it. But why would he? He's still waiting for Chance to contact Dad. Sage, scratching her head, paced the room. Pacing helped her to think. She needed an airtight plan. Strategy is important for a plan to be successful, she cited her father's words to herself. It was one of the keys her father said unlocks the door to success and powerful. Nothing was going to stop her. She was going to Rolling Hill. Sage wanted to prove to her family that she should be more than a kitchen wife. She didn't understand why her mother, one of the greatest female alphas, was not on her side. Her mother was celebrated as one of the most illustrious figures in the history of wolves. Her heroics were as impressive as her father's. Sage knew that story. Her mother possessed the title of alpha, not because she is a female married to an alpha. She held the title by her own rights and deeds from birth. I will have my wish soon. I want everyone to know that I am a product of both my parents and will be an alpha, strong and wise, with or without a mate. Sage returned to search for Chance's letter. She knew it had to be somewhere in the house. Either her father had not written one or Tay had it. She prayed for the latter, looking out the window to make sure her mother and Tabris were nowhere in sight. Sage ducked into Tabris's dimly lit room in search of the official letter. Boys, ugh! Sage was disgusted by the cluttered, stinky room. She picked up a pair of sweaty socks, sweaty pants, sweaty shirts, and endless other sweaty things, concluding that Tay was a big, nasty, sweaty mess. Sage stood in the middle of the room. Slowly, she let her eyes scan the room. It wasn't long before she saw the letter under the books Tay bought when they went to the big city several months ago. Sage jotted down a postscript at the bottom of the letter, then stuffed it back into the envelope, then into her pocket. When she reached the bottom of the steps, she saw the young Delta whom she met earlier. She ran up to him just before he was about to shift. Hey, I have something for you. We thought you'd left, she breathed deeply. My father, Alpha Tatum, asks that you please give this to Chance. It's a response to his message. Yes, Miss Sage, it will be my pleasure. As long as Tabris doesn't notice the envelope is missing, all will be well. Then a light bulb went off in her head, and she ran back to the house. She went into her father's study, grabbing one of the empty envelopes. She ran back into Tabris' room and slipped the envelope under the book. She wrote a short note, placed it on her pillow, so that her family would know she was safe and on her mission. The moment Sage walked into the kitchen, her mother came through the back door. Sage sighed deeply. That was a close call. Are you feeling better, Sage? Bristol asked her daughter. She could tell something was wrong by the way Sage was behaving. Yeah, I guess. Sage grabbed a slice of cake from the refrigerator. You know we haven't gone hunting together in some time, Bristol said as she poured milk in Sage's glass. No, we haven't, at least not the two of us together without Dad and Tay. Well, we can go hunting this weekend, live off the land, hunt a few deer, Bristol smiled. Sure, Mom, Sage said, giving her mom a big hug and a weak smile. She knew when the weekend came, she would probably be in a world of trouble. When Bristol left the room, Sage speedily drank her milk, then stuffed the last piece of cake in her mouth before rushing out the door.
Sage took her time going down the hill. She estimated her arrival to be 4 or 5 hours after the delivery of the messenger. Sage walked gingerly. She wanted to remain unnoticed. When the sun began to set and the stars dotted the sky like broken shards of glass, she made camp in a small cave to avoid unknown enemies. She snared a rabbit and was glad to find some wild dandelion and greens growing nearby. She wasn't hungry, but she knew she needed to keep her strength up for the journey. It took her parents a day and a half to arrive at Rolling Hill. She knew she'd be able to make it in less time, being younger and more energetic, and without an entourage. Dawn of this day woke Sage. Her stomach tightened as if a vice was twisting her innards. It had been a while since she had eaten off the land. Rabbit stew, rabbit pie, and rabbit fried or baked was the norm, not raw, freshly caught from the valley. Sage picked some wild mint to quiet her stomach and took off towards Rolling Hill. She knew her parents or Tabors were now aware of her disappearance. To turn back now would undo all she wanted to accomplish. She decided to shift, make the trip quicker. The moment she transferred, she felt the need to hunt. She really wasn't hungry, but for some reason her stomach began to rumble and her mouth water. She was happy to find ducks along the edge of the pond. Sage made sure her steps were light and her speed quick. She captured one and maimed another. She felt rejuvenated, strong, and excited as she darted through the woodland area. After 30 minutes or so, she stopped again to eat. Sage assumed her nervousness and the pressure of her deceit is what was making her stomach feel as if it were at knots. Eating off the land could also produce stomach pains. Either way, it would all be over in a few hours. She knew Rolling Hill was just over the ridge, the infamous ridge her parents would speak of, recanting the story of how they took revenge against Rex and found her grandmother Leona alive and well. Oh, Grandma, I wish you were here. You would have made Mom and Dad listen. Sage shifted back into her human form and wiping the tears from her eyes, she spotted a little house off the dirt path. Sneaking into the backyard, she removed a shirt hanging on the line. It was evident that it was a man's shirt, but on her it fit like a dress. She didn't want to approach Alpha Chance looking like a ragamuffin. I use that term all the time, ragamuffin. The town of Rolling Hill was small, a lot smaller than Blackstone. She liked the close-knit feel of the area. Everyone she neared spoke, but took note that she was an outsider. She was overjoyed to find a vacant room at the local hotel. She wanted to freshen up before meeting Alpha Chance. It had been several years since she last saw him. In fact, she couldn't remember anything about him because they were children when they met. Sage arrived earlier than anticipated and decided to take advantage of the time. The woman who owned the establishment had long salt and pepper hair and sharp brown eyes. Sage estimated her age to be around that of her mother. She was very nice, introducing herself as Tony. They connected immediately. Tony advised her of what places were not safe for females alone, and some areas she should go without any problems. She told her the town was safe, but the outskirts were dangerous. Tony even gave Sage some clothing that had been left behind by a renter who couldn't pay her bills when she noticed Sage's attire. As the proprietor of the hotel, she knew about Rolling Hill's history, along with its gossip and legends. Sage liked the small town. In some ways, it reminded her of Blackstone, and why not? Her parents and Uncle Scotty fashioned it after Blackstone. However, Rolling Hill appeared to be a little more rustic and simplified. Funny, the thoughts of her walking the streets her mother once walked as a child, even as a woman her own age, was exciting. Suddenly, a sharp pain gripped Sage. She moaned, doubling over as she felt her knees buckle. Tony rushed her aside, obviously concerned. "What is it?" Before Sage could reply, her stomach rumbled, making a loud gurgling sound. "Why, child, you're hungry. I have a pot of stew on the stove. Get settled and I will bring you a tray." "I guess I am, but I need to give my message to Alpha Chance first." "Not until you eat. Plus, he's not here. Word has it he's been out scouting," Tony announced, letting Sage know she was well connected with the who, what, when, how of Rolling Hill. Well, in that case, stew it is, Sage smiled. The stew was well as the company was wonderful, yet Sage felt something was wrong. She wasn't sure if she picked up a bug of sorts or simply ate something that didn't agree with her. After the feast of stew, crusty bread, and sweet butter and chocolate cake, Sage felt hungry again. There was a sharp pain ever so often in the pit of her stomach and a burning between her thighs. Maybe I'm in heat. I've heard speak of such things from some other girls. Are you okay? Tony asked. I'm not sure. Sage explained what was happening. She couldn't understand the facial expressions Tony was making. The grin looked as if it would split her face in two. Girl, you have the gift. You have been blessed with the hunger. My mother has spoken about a wolf's hunger, but nothing. Your soulmate is near. You have been blessed by the goddess and will live a life of true love and happiness. Perhaps I picked up something eating out on the range, or perhaps your destiny awaits, and you will be blessed by the goddess. And that's all I've got time for, ladies. I don't know if my throat can go much further anyway. Yep, you go, Sage. Ragamuffin. I say that all the time, and it's usually to my nieces and nephews, and I'm like, you look like a ragamuffin, or I look like a ragamuffin. Oh, is it really? Oh, that's so great. Thank you, ladies. All righty. So there's been a change to the schedule. I was supposed to read Nathan Colston's book Sunday morning. I'm going to read it Saturday morning at 10. I've got someplace I have to be Sunday morning, and no, it's not church, even though it's probably where I need to be, but no, it's not church. I'm actually going to go meet my brother. So we got some mama business to take care of. So I'll be doing that. Why should I drink more warm milk, Olivia? I'm curious. For your throat? Nah, I'm just going to go to sleep. I'll be fine in the morning. It's my head. But I'm going to read Nathan Colston's book Saturday morning. So 10 o'clock right here. Nina's supposed to be changing everything. So if she doesn't, let me know. I'll fire her and I'll try to find another one. I'll fire her and then I'll hire her back. I always do. She gets fired about 3 times a week anyway. All right, ladies. Thank you, Miss Raven, for letting me read it. And I want everybody to have a wonderful weekend if I don't talk to you before next week. Okay? Wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys later. Love you. Happy reading.